Gen Z is having a career crisis and we are here to fix it, or at least talk about it for an hour. This week's topic, finding a job and finding your purpose in your 20s is harder than ever. Your 20s has always been an important time for figuring out your life. You are trying to build out every element that goes into the life that you want to live. Your job, your experience, having experiences, finding love, finding everything. Now that's hard for every generation. It's even harder for Gen Z for a lot of different reasons, but particularly when it comes to the job and career part of it, all right? So right now it is harder than it has ever been for new people graduating college to find jobs. I'm gonna give you guys a stat, this is crazy. Only 45% of Gen Zs are working full-time. So that is less than half of people in Gen Z have a full-time job. That's crazy.
That means more than half. Not working.
Are not. So look, a lot of these are part-time jobs, but I think one of the challenges, it's harder than ever to find these entry-level jobs. Couple reasons for this. A lot of these entry-level jobs are going to AI, right? So let's be honest, the jobs that are hiring 22, 23-year-olds, like they're not fucking rocket science. The point is to like get someone in the door and train them up and have someone that's willing to do these easier jobs. Now AI is doing those jobs. No, but like these are the jobs that used to be going to new hires. They're gone. There's also been a lot of job opportunities that are fake job postings. These are called ghost jobs. 45% of job openings are ghost jobs. So they don't actually end up hiring anyone. They're just showing that the corporation is growing, that they're posting new jobs, and they just don't hire anyone.
That's evil.
I know.
Wow.
I know. And roughly 35% of entry-level jobs require 3 or more years of experience, which is like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, entry level, 3 years, yeah.
Like, so listen, everyone, it's hard to find a job for everyone right now, but it's especially harder if you have no experience, right?
Right.
One of the other reasons it's hard is 40% of people are claiming Gen Z are not ready for work. These are 40% of job leaders. This is a crazy stat. 20% of people have gone on interviews with their parents. And they've had their parents call to like negotiate a salary. That's kind of crazy.
That's ridiculous.
I wonder if some of that is skewed by like a 16-year-old's mom dropping them off at their interview at McDonald's, you know what I mean? But like, that's a whole other thing to get into. Yeah. The point is though, like, not only is it hard to find a job, it's hard to keep a job. Layoffs are happening more than ever. But I also think, especially with this younger generation, like, finding your purpose and what you want to do and pursue your passion is more important in your face than ever. Like there's so much social media about people quit their jobs to follow their dreams, blah, blah, blah. And like, this also happened with millennials and other generations. But like, as we go through time, like your 20s used to be spent like, you know, saving for a home, getting married, having kids. That's getting pushed down the road. And this like, nobody really knows how to live their life and figure out their career at this stage. Like this is the first time generations have really had to figure it out at this level. Right. The other thing I was gonna say is there's also a lot of different kinds of jobs that are changing all the time. Yeah. So like AI is a huge deal now. Content creation, like.
Exactly. There's like jobs that didn't exist 5 years ago.
And in 5 years, there will be new jobs, right? Exactly. So it's like harder and harder to like, get a job and stay the same company for 20 years and like get a degree and that degree matters. Like it's not even worth learning how to code anymore, for example. So I think it's challenging for every generation. It's particularly challenging for this generation, but we have a lot of great guests this episode who are gonna help us figure it out, help it figure out for the next generation. Our first guest is an author, Jack Rains. He used to work for Liquidity. He had a job in corporate America. He now works in venture capital, he's gone to business school, and he has written a book about finding wealth and purpose in your 20s. That was a fun interview.
It was
He's
super
my interview friend. Izzy really enjoyed it. So we have an author on in the first half, a guy that's done a lot of different jobs and figured out what is the point of your 20s. And then we had on in the second half, a guy named Willy D, our good friend Willy D, who's really only worked at Friday Beers. He's only had one job that's not really a real job. He's had some other jobs that we talked about as well.
We kind of got to hear his crash out in real time, so
100%.
Maybe that'll be relatable for
That was
some
interesting.
Listeners. Yes.
We were like, what is life like as a content creator? Because we did some stats here, like almost a third of people, like young people, want to grow up to be content creators, which is crazy. And then we asked people around the Friday Beers office, what's the worst job they have? There's a lot of job talk. I'm excited about this episode. I'm a guy who fucking started a page called Work, Retire, Die. So if anyone knows about existential crises, it's this guy right here. It's a great episode. Let's get into it. Let's kick it over to our interview with Jack Rains. Welcome to the podcast. We have joining us my internet friend, turned real friend, Jack Friend, Jack Rains, who is the author of a great book called Young Money. We got it right back here, which is a field guide to wealth and purpose in your 20s. Let's give it up for Jack.
Yeah.
Happy to be here.
All right, so talk to us a little bit about the book. We're doing an episode this week, Gen Z, trying to find jobs and purpose in their 20s, and you're the perfect guest for that. So give us a quick high level of what the book's about.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. The title is Young Money. The subtitle is A Field Guide to Wealth and Purpose in Your 20s. What the book is not is it's not a slop list of self-help articles on go chase your purpose or passion or whatever. It's really much more of a memoir from my early and mid-20s, written by me in my late 20s, talking about all the like kind of external and internal challenges you face in your 20s, where you have these two forces that are like pulling in opposite directions of there's all this fun, adventurous stuff I want to do while I'm young and don't have responsibilities. But especially as you get in your late 20s, there's this, I care about my career and I want to make a lot of money and be able to support a family. And you have this really finite window of both being able to do a lot of these fun things when you're young and dumb, but also setting the foundation for your career, where as you get into your 30s and 40s, you end up where you want. And it's tough because you don't know that much and you don't have that much money. And there's only, you have 8 years of post-college 20s and then you're 30. So the entire book, the first half is very much my navigation through this of I worked in corporate finance, hated it, quit my job on a whim, backpacked Europe and Latin America, staying in hostels for a year. And then I went to business school, and then I get into how I had a career pivot where I worked in media for a little bit, didn't want to stay in media, wanted to get in the investing world. And I work for a venture capital fund now. So what I think the book is really just me telling my version of a story that a lot of young people feel, where you're incredibly stressed out about not having enough time to do all the things you want when you're young.
Right.
And then my reflections on how to make the most of that finite period of life. That's the book.
I love it. I honestly, and I was texting with you a little bit, like I wish I had this book when I was 23, 24 and trying to figure it out. What led you to kind of like quitting your job and going on this whole thing? And
the timeline went like this. So I'm 29 now. I graduated from undergrad in December 2019. And then I graduated right into COVID.
Yes.
And for context, I had also gotten into business school at Columbia University coming out of undergrad, but typically with business school, you work a few years before you go get your MBA. It was a deferred enrollment thing where I had to work 2 to 5 years before starting. So in the back of my mind, I knew I was going to go to grad school when I was 25 or 26. I needed to get work experience. I'm working in corporate finance in Atlanta for UPS. COVID hits, and I'm in the office for 4 days, and then we're like working remote, it's just Zoom calls, spreadsheets.
So you were going into the office?
Yeah, I had 1 week. I actually remember I had 1 week in the office. And then we get the email that said, hey, there's this virus and it's like kind of bad.
Yeah.
And we should go remote for 2 weeks. Then we'll be back in the office. And I think everybody had a similar experience of 2 weeks became a month.
Yes.
Became through the summer. And then, it's summer 2021 and it's been 18 months and we're still remote.
I feel bad for people that start their careers fully remote, because I think like you miss so much of like
100%.
What's fun about working.
The ability to work remote when needed, I think, is one good change post-COVID of, I have to go
Friday.
It's like I have a wedding this weekend. Can I bring my laptop and work remote on Friday somewhere cool? But yes, the norm should be in office, particularly when you're young. And I totally got screwed on that, right? And I was sitting there, I was 24 and I had, another year till I was going to grad school, and my job, I was bored. I didn't love corporate finance. I didn't love doing it remote.
A lot of people love corporate finance, so that's surprising.
Yeah. It's a massive corporate finance, FP&A and accounting are like the 3 most fun jobs for 23-year-old guys. And I was sitting there, I'd just been addicted to like trading stocks on my screen and kind of fucking off at work. And I'd just been staring at screens all day and was sick of it. And, I'd gotten into grad school and was thinking, I just don't want to keep doing this for another year. The stock trading thing was wearing me out. Job was boring. And the thing that I'd kind of wanted to do since I was a kid was I'd really romanticize this idea of it would be cool to just go see a lot of other countries. I'm from small town in Georgia. I'd been out of the country a couple of times, but hadn't traveled much. And I start looking into it, and flights are $250, a hostel's $10 a night. Like, it was really cheap to do it. And it just seemed, the idea sounded crazy. But I ended up just saying, screw it, and quit my job, and ended up living out of the country for a year.
I love that. And I'm so jealous of that because I actually remember I had a friend, I was probably 25, and his grandma passed away and left him like $5,000. Yep. And he like quit his job and moved to Asia for a year. And I was like, $5,000 is not enough money to like blow up your life. But he was like, I literally hate my job. Like if I don't do this now when I'm 24, when else am I going to do it?
Yep.
And, you know, he found job out. He was making a little bit of money when he was out there. So he made it last. But
yeah. What happened to him? What's he doing now?
And now he's got a normal job, and he's talks about the time where he traveled, and he's happy he did it.
Like his life's totally
like
normal.
He's fine.
He just did something. Like it's like it was 7 years later, or whatever. He has a totally normal life. He just did something way more fun when he was 24.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's kind of the point. It's like,
yeah,
you can do that at 24. You actually can't really do that at 34. Like the stakes and like the cost of doing something like that when you're young are just way lower than people.
100%.
And it's so fun.
So you quit your job, you start traveling the world, and you start writing this blog, Young Money, which I love, and it's kind of your observations on growing up and finance and everything in between.
Yeah, it's funny. The initial plan was, when I was trading stocks, I was writing different like freelance investing articles on Seeking Alpha and some other sites and was making like $100 a week from it. And I Googled how to make money writing about stocks. And I saw that Morning Brew and The Hustle and some of these upstart media companies were hiring. So I just applied to all of them, some of the freelance articles I've been writing. And pretty much all of them said, you don't have enough journalism experience for us to hire you full time. So the whole reason I started my Substack newsletter initially was just to build up a portfolio of work that I knew what I was talking about. And my first few articles were writing about what was going on in financial markets. I then quit my job, was traveling Europe, writing that. And then I hit up Liquidity, who Friday Beer's partner. And I saw he had a big investing newsletter and just said, hey, do you need help with your newsletter? And he said, yeah, can you help edit it, aggregate deal flow, and hire some college kid interns? And I said, yeah. And he started Venmoing me $500 a week, and I started running his newsletter. And like, that was my accidental, like trip into sort of startup media world. And next thing I know, we grew the thing from 60 to 300,000 subscribers. And it was like a pretty big business printing money in ad revenue. So I kind of got this is how the internet economy works. This is how distribution leverage works through that. And then my newsletter kept growing as I was writing over the next year.
Yeah, I feel like I was in a similar position where I was working a job in corporate America that I absolutely fucking hated. And I felt like, to me, I was like, bored is the right word that you used to describe, where I was like, I'm using 10% of my brain. I'm a professional emailer. I'm not being challenged. Like, I'm literally not doing anything. And I started this blog, Work, Retire, Die, because I wanted to write for Morning Brew or Barstool or one of these places. Fast forward 5 years later, that gets acquired by Friday Beers. And I wasn't even doing that to get acquired. I was just using it as a portfolio. So I think like that's like the biggest thing too, is like if you want to do something, start actually just doing it. So you were going to grad school. And you got a job writing for media. So you were for Sherwood News, right? And I think this is an interesting part of your book, but I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, so I had always had these two like competing interests of, I always thought investing in financial markets were interesting, but the writing thing took off and I was getting interest from publishers to write a book. My newsletter was growing quickly and I just knew the newsletter game, the media game really well at this point. And then Robinhood reached out and they were building a new media property called Sherwood News. And the pitch was basically Bloomberg started as a data company and then they launched Bloomberg News off of it and went really hard. And now Bloomberg's arguably the most respected business media company out there. Robinhood and Sherwood wanted to do the same thing, but more focused on the retail investor versus Wall Street. And in my head, they had a massive email list they had acquired. They had several podcast properties. They were putting a lot of money into it. And it felt like an opportunity to become like a Matt Levine type of player for this new property. And I joined. And then the thing I realized pretty quickly was I had always liked writing when it was my own side thing published on my schedule. And when it became, you're working for a media company, there's deadlines, quotas of content you have to put out. And there isn't always that much interesting stuff to write about in markets. And then it was hard to work on the book because I was just writing all day. And I just kind of zoomed out a little bit and realized that I always wanted to have a platform and distribution, but I didn't necessarily want my entire livelihood and career to be like carved out on media. And 6 months into that, I was sitting there thinking, I'm on the back. I joined them when I was still in business school. 4 months later, I graduated. And then I'm looking at my friends going and doing banking, consulting, and private equity, whatever. And I was sitting there thinking, I really should have been more thoughtful about this and double down on the investing thing and just work somewhere where I could still write. And I had the classic 27-year-old career panic. Right when I signed the book deal, I'm then trying to pivot in my own career. And I actually felt like a total hypocrite. Like there was some irony, and I signed this book deal mid like trying to navigate my own career uncertainty that like the pitch I put together versus what the book turned into are hilariously directionally the same, but the details changed a lot.
Well, if you're writing a book about surviving your 20s and you're not even 75% of the way through your 20s, it's going to change, you know?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But it also makes it way more interesting because I was kind of going through it while it was more like real. It's as much a diary memoir as it is a reflection book, really.
So like, what's one message that you want people to take away from reading the book as they're thinking about their lives?
It is very okay to not know what you're doing in your 20s and to feel like you're falling behind, because everybody has one or two friends who just figured out exactly what they want at 20 or 21 and they just ran after it. And then you're 25 or 26 and they're still loving it. And it's easy to make that your comp point of, oh man, they have it figured out and I don't. What you don't realize is careers are not totally linear, and it's totally fine to try something from 22 to 24, realize that's not it, try something else. And then you do that 2 or 3 times, you start aggregating these different experiences and you feel like you're not making progress because you keep jumping. But in reality, you are learning so much about yourself and just how to do so many different things. Like maybe you start in banking or consulting and then you go to tech sales for a startup and you start developing all these tangible skills and building networks in different areas that become very useful over time, where as you hit your 30s, you start carving out a unique skill set where you're good at a few different things. You know where to call your shots. And yes, like maybe you made a little bit less money than you would have just doing finance for 6 years.
Right.
But you have a lot more clarity in how you should spend the next 10 years, which is way more important than just committing to something out of fear at 22 and then reaching 30, hating what you're doing and feeling stuck. So I think it's, when you're 50, it really won't matter to you if you found your thing at 23 or 28. And you're much better off treating your 20s like a period of exploration because you just have the freedom to do that.
You started the book off with saying like everyone needs to blow their life up once in their 20s. Outside of, you know, getting addicted to drugs and going to rehab, and honestly, you could still come back from that if you survive it. But like,
but I wouldn't. I think that
I wouldn't recommend that, and like, I can't legally say you should do that.
This is not a pro. This is not a pro fentanyl addiction podcast.
We've actually, this is the most fentanyl has ever been discussed on this podcast.
That's got it. I thought you guys discussed it. It had a quota. Like
we tried. Yeah, no, I think you're right though, where it's like. And this is also kind of ties to another point you had, which is living your life in the stage that you're in, where your 20s is for experimenting and gathering experiences. It's okay to blow up your life. It's harder to do that when you're 35 and you have a wife and kids and a family. And I think like spending your 20s like memories maxing, experience maxing, as we like to call it over here, is like kind of the point, because you had a good line where it was like, $5,000 when you're 24 can be spent traveling the world, and with $5,000 should not be put away towards retirement when you're 65. It's going to be the difference in, you know, X amount of money. Like you're not going to notice that at the end of your life.
My take on all of this, and there's a couple of caveats. One, if you have a bunch of student loan debt or high interest rate debt, you should probably ignore 90% of what I say in the book and get the debt paid down. I'm like pretty serious about that. Like a lot of what I write is coming from the place of, you might not have a lot of money saved up, but you don't owe somebody a lot of money. That is the caveat. And the other thing is, you know, making more money solves more problems than budgeting over and over again, just because at the end of the day, you hit a bottom level of, I still have to pay rent and need living expenses and need to have some form of socializing with others, where if you're making $50,000, $100,000, or $500,000, you can actually still live on the same amount of money and expand how much you're saving or spending on fun stuff. So a lot of my life philosophy boils down to, you should be very intentional about carving out career path or entrepreneurial endeavors that like you believe will give you scaling income over time. assuming that you're optimizing your life that way, it's okay to spend an outsized percentage of your money in your lowest earning years, because you'll more than make up for that in your late 20s and early 30s. Like don't miss out on doing fun stuff with your friends at 25 because you feel like you should be contributing a little bit more to a retirement account, is kind of my take on it.
Let's talk a little bit about pursuing your passion as a career. So we touched on this briefly with you kind of talking about writing for what you thought was your passion, writing for this company, and whether pursuing your passion is a good idea or kind of a dumb idea ultimately.
I mean, I think it's a dumb idea in that, one, your idea of what your passion is when you're young probably is a pretty narrow scope. For example, you, through the course of having a career, you'll often find that there's stuff you're actually pretty good at or like that you just didn't know about beforehand. So you give yourself a very narrow aperture for what you want to do by basing your career choices on 24-year-old you's passions. And there's three things wrong. That's the first. The second is, as soon as you start, your livelihood is determined by your passion, you end up not having a passion for it because it becomes stressful when your ability to pay rent is dependent on hitting a quota for your passion.
Totally.
Putting out articles, podcasts, whatever. And the third thing is, like, not all passions monetize that well. Yes, if you're a phenomenally talented athlete and you make it to the NBA, you can make a lot of money. Or if you're like an N of one creative talent, sure. But the reality is there's a very good chance you're going to struggle to monetize that thing, and you're going to get really jaded when you realize there's other things you could have done that would have paid you money. And this whole idea of money doesn't buy happiness is actually just total bullshit. And money, past a certain point, does not. But especially when you're young, more money makes a big difference.
There's
up until
a minimum.
You're making several $100,000.
Let's talk about quarter life crisis, because I feel like a lot of people go through this when they're 26, 27. I'm going to give you a few things that people do when they hit their quarter life crisis, and you tell me let's rank them. Okay. So you can go to grad school.
Yep.
You can run a half marathon.
Yep.
You can move to Denver.
Yep.
You can get a dog or like a girlfriend.
Yep.
Or you could try to become an influencer online.
Yeah, so it's funny. I feel like some people do all of those.
Some people do all of them at once.
I think the best one is running a half marathon. I think if you're going to do that one, though, you should run the full marathon, because
that's fair.
It's not going to change your life, but I actually do think there's value in doing hard things just to prove that you can. Running a marathon sucks, and if you can do that, like, kudos to you. I've never run a marathon. I've never run more than 5 miles.
I would never do it. I just hate when, like, my friend is like, I can't hang because I have to run 13 miles.
It's like,
tomorrow.
grow up,
I'm
dude.
like,
Come on.
bro,
what? That's self-induced. Who are you, Marcus Aurelius?
First of all, you
like,
don't
shut
have
up.
to, you don't have to do that. Yeah. You
Like,
should do that. Yeah.
What you're out here microdosing stoicism? Come on, man. We don't need this. I think the worst one is probably trying to become an influencer, where they go all in on that and drop everything else.
Yeah.
The girlfriend and dog one, fine. Like, realistically, if you're like kind of dating someone at 27, you should like maybe just lock in. I don't know. I'm single and 29, so I'm probably not the guy to advise on this.
I think dating at that age is like, you got to know if you're in it for marriage or not, and don't
it's
waste
a
people's
forcing
time.
function.
Yeah. If you are broke in your 20s, what do you have any good cost saving tips to like still enjoy your life and still go out? But
I had a pretty good bit a few years ago where I claimed on LinkedIn that back when they were paying people $100 to get the COVID vaccine, I said I got vaccinated 1,000 times in 2 weeks as a side hustle. So you could do that.
RFK would love you. Yeah.
Listen,
donate all your plasma.
I got the 1,000 COVID shots. Yeah, it's great.
The 1,000 shot club. I love that.
Donate plasma to the Maha movement. No, I mean, the actual advice is, dude, just get roommates, especially if you're in an expensive city. Living with your boys is the best. This is my first year. When I turned 28, I stopped having roommates, and it was just like, I like having my own space.
Yeah.
I got my cowboy hat posters back there. It's cool.
Love
but
it.
Also, it's very fun living with your friends, and you'll pay half the price.
It's 100% worth it. Do it as long as you can.
Yeah, I mean, literally doing that and just not blowing food on eating out all the time. There's so many easy things where, like, New York, your rent will be more expensive than Atlanta, where I used to live. But the other lifestyle costs are very much on you, like getting the nice gym membership versus the cheaper one, or the whole like people getting tables every weekend. Stop it! Like that's not even fun. Nobody even likes that. Don't just go to the dive bar and get like 4 Bud Lights. Be a human.
What I wouldn't necessarily recommend this, but like especially when I would go down the shore to the shore bars on the Jersey Shore, people would leave their drinks half drinking, and I would just grab them and combine them all together into one master drink, and that's just like if you want to drink or just drink a bunch of 40s. It's like $6 to drink to get blacked out. It's pretty good.
The mixing drinks is fun because if you do it enough, sooner or later you'll accidentally roofie yourself.
I would love to get. I was hoping to get roofied. Yeah,
and that's the easiest. That's the best money saving hack. Is if you accidentally roofie yourself, you get blacked out on 2 beers. It's great.
Save a fortune. I've loved your marketing technique of messaging girls on Hinge to buy your book.
I got a book launch party last week, and so there's a lot of good pictures of me holding up the book. And I was like, if I'm a single guy, so I'm on the apps. And women read way more books than men.
True.
So it's stupid not to take full advantage of an internet bill. It's like I had my banner photo on Twitter and LinkedIn as my book. My Hinge photo should be me holding up a book poster. So we're just going to do that. And, it gets decent inbound. Like this girl likes
decent
me
inbound.
the other day.
I like
and she says
it as inbound traffic.
She says, you'll have to sign my copy. And it's like, okay, send proof of purchase and maybe we can grab drinks. We'll see.
Nice. I love it. So you basically wrote a book to meet a wife at this. That's kind of that's actually
order
of operations.
The only takeaway from this podcast is I wrote a book to find a wife. But the meta bit on this is I have probably sold some books from Hinge. I have definitely sold books from taking screenshots of my Hinge and talking about using Hinge on Twitter.
It's a content cycle, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's like I rented out the NASDAQ for a day last Monday where my book title was cycling back and forth every few minutes with a tagline that said, if you want to quit your job today, read this book, which is really great to flash up in Midtown on a
people's
Monday.
work. Yeah. It's actually really smart. Like they're going to Jesus fucking Christ.
That's the Morgan Stanley dungeon. Here we go. Yeah.
Especially like in the summer, they probably just blacked out on Montauk for the weekend and we're like, what am I doing here?
All of those interns on week 7 of just looking at cell B2 and just, why am I doing this?
You don't seem that smart, but you are pretty smart. Guys, well, buy Jack's book on Amazon. Yep. Is Amazon the best way to do it?
Like,
you have an audio? Did you record your audio?
I recorded my own audio
hours.
Yeah. I recorded it in 2 days in some studio in Hell's Kitchen. It's great.
That's crazy.
So I was driving back from Montauk with a buddy yesterday, and I made him play my audio book. The whole drive back.
You're like pretty good right there, right?
So, what do you think of chapter 4? Listen, I think I earn slightly more in royalties for the hardcover, so I'm going to say buy that.
Buy the hardcover.
Hardcover, ebook, Kindle, audio.
Sweet.
Buy the book. I think you'll like it. I think your kids will like it. Even if they don't like it, somebody you know will like it. So buy the book.
And subscribe to your newsletter. It's youngmoney.co. Every week or
is
so.
The newsletter. Young Money is the book. I write weekly-ish. Just look up Young Money. If it's not Lil Wayne, it's me.
And if you're a woman on Hinge in New York, he does not want to date you. He just wants to sell a book. So be aware.
Listen, I might want to date you.
You might want to date you too.
Those are mutually exclusive.
All right, cool. Izzy, did you enjoy that conversation with Jack?
I loved it. I was having like an existential crisis like throughout it.
Yeah.
It was really interesting though.
Your 20s are very hard because it can be hard to figure out what you want to do. We talked about this a little bit where like a lot of people will come email me because I work at Friday Beers or started Work Retired I and be like, how do I get into that? And I think a lot of people have this thing where like your first job after college has to be like, I'm wildly passionate about it. I love this.
Yeah.
And I just don't really think that that's feasible or the case.
Yeah.
I think having a job and having something to like pay your rent and live your life is so important. And if anything, you figure out that you don't like that kind of job.
Yeah.
Your first job is never going to be your best job.
You can work to live, not live to work.
100%.
A couple years.
And I think to me, like what is the most, why I started Work Retired I is like the most upsetting thing that happened to me when I like graduated college was I was like, I feel like I just don't have any purpose. Like I have no goal that I'm working towards.
Yeah.
Like, when you're in high school, it's like you want to get into college, you have a test. Sports are like a big deal in high school to you because it's all you, having a crush on a girl is like a huge fucking deal. College, you're trying to get a job, you see your friends every weekend. And then you're like thrown into the world and you're like,
Then it kind of ends there.
yeah, you're like, what else is left?
Yeah.
What else is there to fucking do? And I think like, it's like you have these jobs and you're like, I simultaneously feel like I have no free time and all the time in the world.
Exactly.
You know, because you're like, I get home from work, I go to the gym and like watch TV.
Yeah.
So I think it can be very hard to like figure out that, and not everyone finds their purpose in life, which is okay. But I think if you find your purpose, it's okay to keep your day job and work towards that on the side as well. I think the biggest takeaway from that convo is your 20s are for making mistakes and figuring out what you like and don't like. So don't be afraid to just blow up your fucking life and try 2 or 3 different things, because you don't want to look up one day and be 35 and be like, I don't know, like I wish I had done these things when I was younger and I had less to live for, or more to lose.
Less to
live for. I don't know if that totally makes sense, but the other thing I would say is like, you are going to die very quickly, and the longer you wait, the harder it will get. So do not waste any time. If there's something you want to do with your life that's not this right now, start on it, do something every day on it, and one day you'll be fine. You'll be happy. You'll live your life.
Yeah.
Izzy and I have a fun job. We work at a fun place at Friday Beers. Everybody loves their job here, but I think it's important to realize that we love our job because we've all had jobs that we hate. So what we did this time, we walked around the office, asked some people what their worst job they ever had was, and they freaking answered. Let's talk to the office, see what they have to say. What is the worst job you guys ever had?
I was packaging ammunition in a ammo factory, and one day one of the forklifts was driving by and it ran over a loose bullet. It shot across the warehouse right through the assembly line.
Jesus.
And I actually didn't quit the job. I was fired.
Oh, I wonder why.
I used to work at this startup, and I ended up being scammed
Oh.
$600 of fake gift cards because I didn't have the CEO's phone number, and then I got a text from him and it wasn't him.
I think it's between working at a haunted Dunkin' Donuts or working on a farm scooping poop.
I used to work as an EMT. I made $14.50 an hour in LA and worked like 24 to 40 hour shifts.
I was a camp counselor when I was in high school.
Did they respect you?
I don't think so, which is why I think it was the worst job.
No one here respects you, so.
I was a little league umpire. I once got into an argument with a dispute with player's dad, because every time after this kid hit, he was also an assistant coach, he would throw his bat as hard as he could into the backstop. So I was like, listen, if he does that again, I'm going to call him out no matter what the heck does. I explained that to the guy. And he comes up in the last inning, the bottom of the sixth, whatever it was, and he hits a game-tying 3-run home. But he fucking hurled the bat.
You called him
And I
out?
called him out.
Dude, you're a man of
He
integrity.
ended the game.
That's
left, right.
Crazy.
Black weeds for this lady. There's this one specific plant that we weren't supposed to cut, and one of my friends cut it, and she chased us off the property and never paid us.
How fast was she chasing you? Like she's an
Like Usain Bolt.
Izzy, what's the worst job you ever had?
I used to work over the summers for a wedding planner. There was like some really mean like bridezillas. I would always like leave the day being like, I can't believe I was just like spoken to like that.
You're catching people at a tough time.
Yeah. It's also like selfishly, it's really hard to see people having like a good time. And I'm like not. I'm like here serving and they're out partying. I was like, man, I want to party right now.
That is tough.
Yeah.
Worst job I ever had. One summer after college, I worked for a caterer. I was a cater waiter. And I had gotten arrested for smoking weed the semester before. So I had to do 50 hours of community service that summer. The way I got this job was I came home from college. I was doing my community service at an animal shelter in my town. And this woman, she's probably like 50 or 60. The first day was like, wait, you're doing this? Like, you're just here to help out? I was like, yeah, like I didn't have to have her sign my sheet. I wasn't gonna tell her it's for community service. Every day that week, she just like kept spending time with me and was like, you are such a sweetheart for doing this. She hired me to work for her catering company. I was a waiter for them. And when we would do events, she would bring me out to meet the family and be like, you guys wanna know how I met Jack? He was home from college, and what does he do? He volunteers for an animal shelter. And I was like, yeah, I'm a great guy.
Yeah, you're just a good person.
It
For
also-
no reason.
No reason at all. All right, let's transition to Willy D, who is the fucking man. Willy, tell us about your career. Let's welcome to the podcast our good friend, William Denellen, Willy D.
It's good to be here,
to
man.
the pod.
Thank you for having me.
We wanted to have you on this week because we're doing an episode about Gen Z trying to find jobs and careers.
Yeah.
And you are someone who has, at least as an adult, really only worked at a place that's not a real job.
Not a real
at
job
Friday
at all.
Beers.
Well, yes and
As
no.
an adult. But I want to go through like your experiences before.
All right. When I was 19, I worked on a congressional campaign.
And that counts.
Full time. I dropped out of college.
So you were 19, you were in college. What were you doing?
I was in college. I was studying poli-sci. Actually, I was switching to poli-sci major, and I was interning on a bunch of campaigns every summer and stuff. Interning on Capitol Hill, and then I got offered a job to be the finance director for a congressional campaign, which is
insane.
So stupid. Like I don't know shit about. I didn't know anything.
You dropped out of college.
I mean, I talked to the school and I was like, if I leave for a year, can I come back?
Yeah.
And they were like, yes.
And so you did it for a full year.
The crazy part about it is that a month after I move out there, after dropping out of college, COVID starts.
That's crazy.
So
you were
2 months after, maybe. Yeah. But
so you were like at your parents' house doing it remote, or like you were?
Or no, I was in this for a while. I was just in this apartment that I'd found with my Facebook roommate.
Yeah,
working from home.
Did that make you want to not work in politics again? That experience, or were you like, I would do this again just for like a bigger campaign?
The month before the election, I like ruined my life. Like I wasn't sleeping. I would get home from work. I wanted to win so fucking bad because I knew if at 19 I won, I would
be like a whiz kid.
Like literally,
but like you would be like a political guy.
Yeah, it would have been sick. And so I would get home from work and I would just go knock doors by myself, just in my neighborhood or near my neighborhood or wherever, and just like until 1 a.m.
Yeah,
or I would leave like flyers. I wouldn't because of COVID, we couldn't actually knock doors. It was like a weird,
interesting,
just like dropping lit at people's doors, and I would just go do that for 5 hours when I got home, sleep, get up, do it again, and eat Taco Bell for every meal. And I gained like hella weight. I got like mad. I was like a big boy by the end of that. And,
chunky boy.
And then we lost, and I just slept for 2 weeks straight because I was so.
It's got to feel good to sleep like that.
Yeah, and then I woke up and I was like, I'm going back to college. I want to be a kid again.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's a weird experience, especially because it's during COVID too. But like, I wonder if. I guess like a lot of people weren't in college at the time. I mean, they were in college, but it was like fake college.
That was
so, like
perfect.
You didn't really miss out on a lot.
I didn't miss any football games.
Yeah,
like the shit I cared about.
You
kind of
did a gap
parties,
year.
Football games.
Yeah.
I didn't miss. Yeah, I did a gap year.
Yeah,
The perfect time.
Like a lot of kids did take the year off,
and
to
people
just,
and people were
chill.
like mourning their college experience that got tainted, and I just like.
It's like, no, I lost, but all right. So if you had won, you could have been a big campaign superstar.
But because we lost, I said, I'm going back. I want to be a kid, and I want to just do shit that's fun. And so I joined a comedy group right when I got back.
Nice.
Snowball effect.
Started posting TikToks.
Yeah.
And then how old were you when you got hired at Friday Beers?
It was my junior year, spring break. All my friends went to Punta Cana, and I had no money at all. I've always been pretty bad at. I fly by the seat of my pants. I've never been one to have a lot of savings.
Yeah, no. If one thing goes wrong, it's a house of cards.
I know, exactly. And that has happened once or twice throughout my life already.
But my junior year spring break, we just were like, we have no money. We're just going to go on a road trip and sleep on people's couches at colleges nearby.
That's kind of sick.
Yeah, it was sick.
Yeah.
And I spent probably $120 on gas.
Yeah.
And that was it.
I mean, I could have done that, but I couldn't go to Punta Cana. So I just went home.
Okay.
I was just with my parents. And then I got an email from our CEO, Jack, and Max, and Andrew. I don't know why I said Andrew, Kenward.
Yeah.
And they were like, hey, I guess someone had showed Max my TikToks, and like, can we have a call? And I was like, yeah. And so we had a call, and they were like, hey, could we fly you out to Austin this weekend to meet you and kind of feel it out? And I was like, that is insane, because if I had been in Punta Cana,
you would have like not checked your email or
certainly not been able to go to Austin, or I might have been like, fuck, I have to leave Punta Cana like I want.
Yeah.
And so I went to Austin, and they had this big party, and I got really drunk. And I woke up the next day in their Airbnb, and I was like, I think I blew it.
Yeah.
And they were like, Max came up, he's like, dude, you're on fire last night. I was like,
you're the man. And
okay,
now you do that once a week on
and
YouTube.
Now that's my job. Yeah. And so,
was it just you? Like, were you the only person they were trying out that weekend?
No, it was me, Billy, and Chet.
And you all guys all succeeded.
And we all passed the test.
That's
it was
sick.
Rusty had just started in like November. It was like February of 2022.
Okay.
Rusty had just started in November, and Angus and Liam had started maybe a year before. And then
So then you came out for the summer.
Yeah.
You did a bunch of content.
We all lived in a house together.
You
Billy,
did.
Chet, me, and Rusty all lived in a house on the beach.
Kind of sick.
It was the old office too, so there were like
Yeah.
desks and shit. Like it wasn't. They didn't even try to like turn it into a house. They were just like
where did you sleep?
free rent, but you guys have to figure it out. We like on like a mattress on like the corner. Rusty and I shared a bedroom, but like our mattresses were like this, like a L shape to each other. So like
Would
our
you go
feet,
foot to foot?
yeah, foot to foot. You had to go.
That's cute.
You have to go.
You
Foot
can't
to
go because you don't want to get kicked in the head. You can't go head to head.
Head to head, would be-
crazy.
Yeah, you don't want to hear him breathing. Or
At the time, were you like, "Wow, this is such shitty conditions"? Or you're like, "This is fucking awesome."
it was the best thing of my life.
Yeah.
In hindsight, I had such a big like ego and like a big head and like.
Well, it's hard. You're 20 years old.
I look
and-
back on behavior from that time period as like, oh god, like what the fuck was I doing? But in the moment, I felt like.
Yeah, no one is
star.
I mean, I feel like what sucks for you is you had these moments on camera when you're 20 years old. Like
100%.
If I was 20 and that was happening, like I would look like such a dickhead. I think 90% of people would. So then you went back to school and then you kind of were working remote, but then you were doing the Daily Friday.
Yes, I know.
The original version of the Daily Friday.
I went back to school, and I was like remote. Dude, they were paying me like every month, and I wasn't doing shit because all my buddies that I did my sketches with graduated. And I had to go back for an extra year because of
your congressional failure. Yeah.
Because of my failure.
Because your failed political career.
Yeah. And so I was literally doing nothing. I was like, this is going to dry up at some point. But I was just getting like paid to. I had like it felt like I had a pension or something.
It was like.
And but I would fly to like events and stuff sometimes. But I wasn't really doing anything day to day. And then, then I was like, I want to start this.
It was more like a satire.
I wanted to be like The Onion, but for like a college audience.
Yeah.
And Jack and I had a meeting about it, and we decided to call it the Daily Friday,
which I love.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, I can't even couldn't have envisioned what you've done with it since. So
Sure.
But yeah, and then I quit and went to the Peace Corps.
So were you like, I really want to do the Peace Corps? Or you were like, I'm not totally sure if I want to like keep doing.
No,
this?
I was really, really, really struggling with my mental health.
Yeah.
Because I was it was all related to like this sudden burst of like, I'm a TikTok star and I'm the Friday beers guy now, and I was drinking so much and like doing a bunch of like Adderall and like Coke and stuff. I was just really I was sad and scared and like knew that my parents were worried about me, and so I was like And there are other things that I always like something like the Peace Corps. Like I went, like I said, I went to, or I guess we weren't recording, but I went to lived in Spain for a year when I was in high school. And I loved that, and so I was like, maybe like this would be a good.
It's a good thing to do, though.
I mean, yes, but so I get accepted.
But then you're gone for 2 years and you can't talk to your family. But yes, you. Get
but
accepted.
I would have been down. I get accepted, and then 3 months later they revoke my invitation after I. Like, you know those 3 last months of senior year when you're telling everyone what you're going to do?
Yeah, now you have to go back and tell everyone.
And I told everyone I was going to the Peace Corps to live in Samoa
anymore.
Yeah. And then I
Samoa would have been sick.
Yeah, I would have lived in like a little village on an island.
That would have been cool.
I like still want to do it.
You could have run a campaign for the Samoan like mayor.
Well, I'd already graduated and moved home for what I thought was just a month before I left.
Yeah.
And then they revoked me based on mental health concerns.
Yeah.
Which was based on literally everything I was saying. It was like,
right,
they talked to my therapist. They made me waive my HIPAA rights, talk to my therapist, all this shit. But like, yeah, I think part of it is like, that's not the reason you should be going.
Yeah.
You should be going to want to help the world.
True.
I was going for an entirely self-serving reason.
Sure.
Even though would have been good for me. Yeah, I stand by like
also like it's working for Friday Beers is self-serving because you just want attention and a comedy career, and like this is a better way to.
This is just
self-serving.
Yeah. It was just like I need help and I'm not willing to like get it in a normal way, so I'm gonna do this.
So was there a thought of like, let me try to get a normal job, or were you like, I'm gonna just try to make the Friday Beers thing work?
Well, yes, there was a thought of like, I had already kind of made this big like, I don't want the Friday Beers, it's making me party and blah blah blah, and I kind of said all that to my parents, and I'm living with them, and I'm like, oh fuck. I'm like living at my parents' house, and like I don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to do now. And I got a job in the short term at a brewery by my parents' house, and I was a cook.
Hell yeah.
And I became the head cook at
Wow,
this
you
little brew pub.
rise to fame.
Yeah, and I
climbed
made
the ladder.
banh mi's and lobster rolls.
Fuck yeah, you did.
I don't know if they ever said head cook, but there was so
It
much
was
turnover.
understood.
I was the only
Yeah,
person
yeah,
that
it
knew
was
how to make this shit.
Kind of what happened to you in South Carolina.
Yeah,
You're just the only
exactly.
person around. That's
Exactly.
your
Exactly.
story of your career, basically.
Exactly. I'm just there.
don't quit. Yeah.
Just be around.
hang
Be
around.
available.
Hang around the net. Maybe like get some ricochet shots. I love that.
Yeah, I looked at real jobs. I applied to a few things, and then I quickly got like extreme, like, oh my God, I have to get out of my parents' house.
Yeah.
I can't. I love my parents. It was just at that point in my life, I was like, I need to start my life. So then I came out here, and
And the rest
I
is
called
history.
Jack Barrett, and he was like, yeah, you can come back, but you have to do. So like, I got hired the same day as Billy and Chet to do like sketches.
Yeah.
I was in the sketch team.
Yeah.
And then I left, and they started Almost Friday TV while I was gone. And when I was like, I want to come back, Jack Barrett was like, yeah, but we want to build that unscripted.
Got it.
So you got to do unscripted. And I was like, all right, fine, I'll do unscripted.
Yeah.
And so I came back into doing that.
What job would you have liked to have had if not Friday Beers? Like, what were you like? What do you? Let's say they were like, it's not gonna work out. What do you think you would have done?
I always wanted to run for office.
Okay.
I mean, I wanted to work on campaigns, and I wanted to.
You could be like David
build
Hogg,
connections, and then run. Yeah,
young
literally.
superstar.
I was super into like the March for Our Lives shit.
Yeah.
but
So it was going to be politics or comedy, no matter what.
yeah, because I think either way, both of those things are pretty similar. Actually, where it's like,
Yeah.
I like understanding people, connecting with people.
And it's a fun
Personal
job where it's like, I
interactions.
feel like you're talking about your job as working on a campaign. You're like going around knocking on doors. You can see where you are in the race.
There's like a metric. There's
when
like
when
a
I
goal
was
you're working towards.
Yeah, when I was stuck in a giant corporation sending emails that like it didn't matter if I lived or died, and if
Yeah.
I fucking quit, they would replace me into if I like. You just feel like you don't matter, and I feel
Yeah.
like with politics, you're using a lot of it. Like you're
And you feel like
thinking
you
about
matter even if
policy
you
and-
don't.
Yeah, exactly.
Like genuinely, we got our fucking asses kicked in that race. Everyone said we didn't have a chance, and they were right. And I still woke up every day like, we could make fucking history because we could have. If we had won, it would have been the biggest upset in the history of congressional races.
That's why
I'd
you're
be
a
on
fucking Mets fan,
be
and
on
a Jets
yeah,
fan.
yeah, it's like
yeah,
being a
because
Mets
you're like,
fan. Yeah.
what if we win?
Literally,
Like I will never
watched
stop
them-
rooting for the Jets because what if we fucking win?
Winning.
So I was looking at Gen Alpha's dream jobs when they grow up. You basically have half of these jobs right now. YouTuber, 32%. TikToker, 21%. Doctor or nurse, that's not you. App or video game developer, not you.
Okay.
Entrepreneur, athlete, online streamer. You've gone live on the YouTube.
That's
a few
true. I used to be
times.
streaming.
Musician, Mountain Dew singer.
Yeah,
You've been paid for
making
your
these
music.
songs.
Teacher, you should teach a class.
You know what? I've actually thought about that.
You should teach a class.
If teachers got paid well,
Dude, that is what we need to fix.
I would do that.
Honestly, I think if you paid teachers 6 figures, it would change this country. Because you just get people like kind of the same with politics, where I'm like, if you paid congressional people more money and they didn't feel like they had to trade stocks and
They make $150,000 a year.
that's not that much money though if you're like 45 and have 3 kids. who
Yeah,
grow
I
up.
guess you're
like,
right.
In case it doesn't work out with Friday Beers, in case you get canceled,
Yeah.
we're going to prepare you for a real job, okay?
Okay, I'm
So
ready.
we'll do like a brief interview with you so you can practice some interview questions, all right?
I'm ready.
All right. What would you say, first of all, how are you today?
Good. How are you?
How's the trip coming in?
Good. The what?
The trip coming in for the interview.
Oh, it was great.
Yeah, okay,
Traffic
cool.
wasn't too bad. But
Nice. Awesome.
I actually live close.
Great. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what would you say is your biggest weakness as an employee?
You know, I think I don't take enough breaks. Sometimes I don't know when to stop.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're a real grinder. That,
Yeah,
you're going to
yeah.
fit in nicely around here.
Yeah, I don't eat lunch ever. I just work.
That's yeah. I wouldn't say that's a weakness, Willie.
Oh, well, it feels like one sometimes,
Oh,
you know.
goodness gracious.
Even, you know, Odysseus needs a break on his
Calypso Island.
seen the
Yeah.
movie. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I just not up on pop culture.
No.
What would you say is like your biggest strength? Like what do you bring to the table?
And
And just like how have your experiences shaped your skill set as a candidate?
yeah, I mean, what am I applying for?
You're applying for a marketing job.
Got it. I think I'm a hard worker. You know, I've when I was 8, I built a Rube Goldberg machine in my backyard,
Wow.
and my dad said it was the best one he'd ever seen.
Well, your father knows his stuff.
I mean, yeah,
So these are actual questions that people will get asked on like weird tech interviews.
Okay, yeah.
How many golf balls can fit in a school bus? This is a Google.
And you have the answers?
If you're really no, if you're really
How would you and explain how you get there?
How many golf balls would I fit in a school bus? Well, yeah, I'm looking at this chair right now, so I could probably fit, I don't know, 20 golf balls this way and another 20 this way. So maybe a seat is 400 golf balls, but that's just the surface of it.
Yeah.
So 2 seats next to each other is 800, and then you go up. I don't know. There's probably you could probably stack 100 golf balls. So that would be 80,000 golf balls per seat.
Okay.
And there's probably 20 rows on each side, so probably 40 seats times 80,000, which would be 320,000.
Wow.
I'm honestly impressed that you're.
That's actually pretty good.
3 million.
3.2 million.
3.2.
We're gonna have to check that math.
3.2.
I like the way you think.
Million golf balls.
Yeah, that's right. That's the answer.
Yeah, you got it exactly right. You didn't ask what brand of golf balls, but what doesn't matter.
That's what I was supposed to say.
No, I'm kidding.
Oh.
Why are manhole covers round?
They'd fall in otherwise if you put them diagonal. If it was a square.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Smart. How would you describe the color yellow to someone who is blind? This is from Spirit Airlines, which is famous for being yellow.
This like they asked this in there.
Yeah.
It's the color of warmth and of happiness and sort of joy.
That's good. I think I would say like it's the same color as like the sun,
but they can't.
You can't see it. But maybe like when you have your.
Oh, I thought it was someone who's colorblind. Never mind. This is actually a good one. How would you explain the internet to a 5-year-old?
You know that site daddy goes on to look at those naughty photos.
That's what that is.
That's what that is. You never tell your mom about.
I think that's the only way to describe it.
You never tell mom
Dude,
about
this reminds me, like, probably 10 years ago, we got my great uncle, who was like 80 years old, an iPad for Christmas. And he was like, "Is this Wi-Fi?" And we were like, "No." And he's like, "What is Wi-Fi?" And I'm like, "What is Wi-Fi?" Like, it's not Wi-Fi. Yeah. I was like, that's a good question.
I have an uncle
Wi-Fi.
with special needs that asks me shit like that all the time. I'm like, I don't know, bro. And he's like, "Why won't you
Great
tell me?"
question.
And I'm like, "No, I like."
All right.
How does Bluetooth work? I was like, I have no fucking idea.
If you could have dinner with anyone dead or alive, who would it be?
If I could have dinner with anyone dead or alive,
Yeah.
I would have to go dead.
Yeah.
And you'd be insane if you picked an alive person.
Yeah.
You'd be
it's like
better off just
call them.
trying to get dinner with them. My gut says Jesus.
But Jesus is not dead. He's alive in your heart.
Well, I don't think he's real.
Oh.
Or I think he was real. I don't think he's like God.
Yeah. But he was a real person.
But it would be really nice to like be sure. Because I don't want to
Just
go to
double check.
hell if I'm wrong.
100%.
You know what I mean? So I think I'd dinner with Jesus and be like, "Are you actually the Son of God?" And if he's like just legit,
just
then I'd be
gut
like,
check.
"All right, I'm going to church. I'm good." Like
I'm good, brother. I'm good.
I will do all the shit now.
Who would you pick, dead or alive?
Jack Lawler probably.
Oh my God, Izzy, you can have dinner with me anytime.
Jack
I'll pick
Reacher.
my dead mom because I haven't talked to her in a while.
That's a good pick.
It's always a good
Can
one.
I actually change mine?
Yeah, my dead mom. All right, sell me this pen.
I actually really like this pen.
But now I want the pen. And that's sales words.
Wait, can I
okay?
try selling you the pen again?
Yeah. Sell me this. You ready? Let's clip that. Sell me this pen.
If you don't buy this pen from me right now, I will stick it so far up your fucking ass you won't be able to walk out of here. $20.
I want that. So actually, you can keep the pen. I love ass play. You know
should've
that.
known.
Will, you should have known. You could just
Sales 101. Never do that. Mess
Always
it on a guy who loves
try to-
ass play.
All right, let's wrap it up with our final segment, buzzwords. So if you're going to work in a normal office, you got to know your buzzwords, okay?
Yeah.
I'm going to give you some buzzwords. You can come up with, maybe you give some wrong definitions if you don't necessarily know.
Okay.
What does open the kimono mean? Like, what do you think that actually means?
This is a real thing?
This is a
Like
real thing
corporate
people say, like, let's open the kimono.
Like pull back the curtains, kind of?
Yeah, like take a look at people's financials.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, what does it mean to be, if a project is like if it's soup to nuts?
I like you really need to tighten it up
From start to end.
Really?
Yeah.
But
From
nuts,
soup to nuts.
Are you
aren't-
pranking me?
I'm not pranking you. Like let's stay on top of this from soup to nuts. From soup to nuts, this might take 6 months.
See, but that would make sense if you made nuts out of soup.
Well, that could be another thing. If you turned butternut soup into just butternut.
You
Covered
can't.
in
It's
soup.
like reverse
You can't
osmosis. Like,
reverse.
what do you mean?
Glue
soup to
it.
nuts.
You have to glue it
It's
all
like
back together.
unscrambling an egg.
Yeah,
when you
have to glue.
Like you can't.
Yeah.
do that.
teabag your buddy's soup.
Oh yeah.
Just put your nut.
Wait,
What's when you bring the soup to your nuts?
Okay. Yeah.
Out of scope.
Not within our purview.
Yeah.
Not. We don't have the ability to tackle it.
Or if you're out of scope toothpaste. We're out of scope.
That's
Can
good.
you go to the grocery store?
Yeah. My girlfriend texted me yesterday, hey, when I left this morning, I actually took your toothpaste.
How do you accidentally do that?
Yeah. And I was like, okay. And then I go in and my toothpaste is there. So now
whose
I'm like,
toothpaste did she
whose
take?
toothpaste does she have? I think she accidentally outed herself for taking her side piece's toothpaste.
Wow. You're like, wait, you didn't even sleep over last night.
Yeah.
Did you mean to text me this? Key takeaways.
Okay.
That's a pretty easy one. Like, what do you think key
Oh,
takeaways means?
like I thought you were just saying that.
Yeah, key takeaways from the episode.
Key takeaways are like the big points to focus on, the most important notes of the meeting.
Or it's like if what the Jets didn't do last year. Like key
They got
turnovers.
no
No
takeaways.
takeaways.
Yeah.
Right? That's how
Yeah,
that's keys
yeah.
to the game. Is getting
Sure.
we'll do 2 more.
Okay.
Pencil whip.
Yeah, pencil whip. What does that one mean again? Oh yeah.
Are you guys pranking me?
No.
No, I've actually never heard this one.
I feel like this is going to be revealed to be a prank. Pencil whip is to write like your life's on the line, like write really fast.
like your life's depending. Is that what it is?
No, it's like if you just like sign off on something really fast without really like checking it.
Ooh, interesting. Like an auto pen signature.
Oh yeah. Okay, Biden.
Okay, Biden. Last one. Boil the ocean.
Oh, like take on an insurmountable task.
Yeah, it's like don't boil the ocean on this one, but like if you could have it by end of day, that'd be great. But
Yeah.
don't kill yourself if you can't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't spin your wheels on this. Another thing that I hate when people say is they used to say like let's socialize this with the larger group. It's like just say send it out.
Yeah.
It does you do sound smart when you use buzzwords though.
100%.
Like when you hear people talk on like meetings, you're like, wow, they really know what the hell they're talking about.
I try to slip in. Yeah. I like if there's a meeting where I can pull that. I can.
Yeah. You can code switch.
I can code switch.
Yeah. All right, Willie, thank you for joining.
Thank you for having me.
Guys, I hope we made you feel a little bit better about figuring out your life in your 20s and your job and everything. If we didn't, I'm sorry. There's always next week. Let's kick it over to everything else you missed this week. We got to talk about the Penn State frat cocaine ring, okay? Did you
Okay.
see about this at all?
Of course not.
There's a Penn State, 14 kids were arrested in fraternities. They were running a massive cocaine trafficking operation
Oh no.
out of their frat houses. And you know what they would do? They would make their pledges cut up and bag the drugs. Isn't
Really?
that crazy?
It's crazy the lengths that people like pledges will.
I know. I feel, here's the thing.
Like, and
If
you know
your
that-
hazing involves like a scene from The Wire where they're like naked bagging stuff, like take a look in the mirror.
Yeah.
There's some fun elements to this. People called the main ringleader Pablo Plechkavar, and he also like would bring people into it because like he lent them money to go on spring break, and to work off the debt, they would like sell drugs for him. Like this kid was like a fucking kingpin. A lot of fun jokes. The Nittany Lions is their mascot. The Nittany Lions is pretty good. They do big whiteouts every week, so that's another fun thing. All right, let's kick it over to our next topic. This is a segment for employed people. Chanty Beluga, taking over the entire internet.
I really think I was the first wave of Chanty Beluga.
You might have been, because this hit my timeline Saturday, and you were a
No,
week.
I saw her a while ago, and I
Huge flex.
embarrassed myself because nobody knew it yet, and I was like coming to the office being like, "Did you guys see Chanty Beluga?" And everyone's like, "No."
I mean, I like sent in my group chat to my siblings, like, you guys up on this Chanty Beluga stuff? And they were like, no. And I was like, just watch the videos, you'll get it. And they were like, we don't get why this is funny. And I'm like, this woman, Chanty Beluga, if you don't know what we're talking about, it's this woman, like this blonde millennial woman who has a very simple formula. I'm not going to over-explain it because it doesn't make it funny.
She literally
She
just
basically,
said
it's like
her
POV, your name is Chanty Beluga and you order coffee. And
She's just Chanty Beluga and she just does stuff. That's literally the entire thing.
Yeah. Honestly, if you need it explained, go look it up. Shout out to Chanty Beluga. Let's keep that thing rolling. Let's kick it over to our next story. This was a big week last weekend was a big weekend for album releases. Are you a Phoebe Bridgers fan?
I am a fan of one of the songs.
What I don't like about this is people are being like, wow, all the love songs are about Bo Burnham. And it's like, she's doing all this for Bo Burnham. And like, this is what happens when you get old. Everything that is cool, there's a cycle where everyone like fucking hates Bo Burnham now. Right? Yeah. When Bo Burnham did that Inside special, it was like a big deal in Netflix. He was my OG YouTuber. And now it's like, it's just people hate him now. Other hot albums released was Pat McAfee's album, Diary of a Polarizing Figure. Do you know what Pat McAfee is? He's the guy that's like on ESPN all the time. He's the fucking worst. This is the worst album ever. Somebody needs to tell this guy no in his life. Why are we doing this? This guy makes $50 million a year. Say no to Pat McAfee if you're listening to this in his circle. Another final piece of medical advice to send you into the weekend. This is coming from North Korea, which has been hit with a heat wave. They are advising their citizens to drink 1 liter of beer every day to cool down. North Korea is not so bad after all. We love you. That's all the news is fit to podcast this week. Have an amazing weekend. And as always, go Jets. The Kate Klubnik era starts today.